And welcome into the Varsity Voices podcast, a state championships radio network production. And we are honored to have our Farm Families of Mississippi Player of the Week and senior quarterback King White, not a more deserving young man in the state of Mississippi after his performance against the Starkville Yellow Jackets. First off, King, welcome in, man. So great. I am thrilled to have you because I call your games on Friday night. I saw the numbers you put up, and I was like, man, we might get a Player of the Week at Germantown. So here we are. Welcome in, my friend.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing? Let's talk about these numbers. Let's just dive into these numbers against the Yellow Jackets. 21 of 28, 75%, 408 yards, 4 touchdowns. Talk about the Friday night you had against a very good Starkville Yellow Jacket team, and you outdueled one of our former players of the week in Kingston Johnson. He's a pretty good quarterback himself.
Yes, sir. It was just a productive side of offense for us that night. We're clicking on all sides of the ball, so it was a great night for us.
Well, talk about your year, man. I've called your games the last 2 years at Germantown, and you've always been a playmaker. I mean, you've always had that big play capability. But I think this year, and correct me if I'm wrong, man, I can tell you're working in the offseason. I know you're working late. I was texting with you last night about getting this interview set up, and you were still up at the field at the clubhouse till 8 o'clock. You
Yes,
really
sir.
have. I think what separated you is the model of consistency this year. Your game is so consistent on top of that playmaking ability.
Yes, sir. The coaches, they were stressing all offseason that this year to be productive and have the year that we want, we just got to be consistent. And me and the guys, we stayed after practice during the offseason. We worked to get that chemistry down. Me, Lawson, Keyshawn, Bryce, we've been working all summer and all offseason to get that chemistry down. And it's coming together this year.
I'd say so. I say model of consistency. I don't even think that word does it justice, man. You have excelled. I mean, your numbers are incredible playing 7A football. You're completing just under 70% of your passes, 245 yards a ball game. Here's it. 14 touchdowns, no interceptions. How do you do it, my friend? I mean, that is some hard work. That's incredible.
I mean, I have a big help from our receivers. We rarely have. I think we have maybe 4 drops on the year. So being able to throw this ball as much as we do and have rarely any drops, it eliminates the turnovers.
Absolutely. And Keyshawn Coleman, you've played with him a long time. He came over with you from St. Joe to Germantown, so y'all got a lot of chemistry.
Yes, sir.
How is that? I mean, you go from one school, y'all were great at St. Joe, but then you come to Germantown and you've helped Coach Mitchell build this thing, take it to the next level. How is that playing with a young man like Keyshawn Coleman? He's committed to Tulane, and you guys, I mean, y'all really, the chemistry is off the charts, but you've got 2 really good running backs as well, and Lawson Brants and Nye Johnson. You've got a host of guys that you've played a lot of football with at Germantown, and then obviously Coleman over at St. Joe.
Me and Keyshawn, we've always had the chemistry going back to our St. Joe days, and we know each other like the back of our hands, so we know, like, if something's not here, we can check it. We have our own little signals and everything, so, we just know each other like the back of our hand.
Well, talk about this. I mean, you guys got a big ball game this weekend. You got to go on the road to Oxford. We know what Oxford's capable of. Coach Cutcliffe and that crew, awfully good. Drew Dean, the quarterback up there. You guys are going to have your hands full. That's a team that ended Grenada's long winning streak. They almost beat Tupelo. So you know the challenge at hand. And if you guys can somehow go on the road in 7A football and get a win, you guys stay in the driver's seat in District 2 7A.
Yes, sir. Well, going into Oxford, it's not going to be tough to beat them. We did it last year, first round of the playoffs, so we're looking to do that again this year. We just got to really just be consistent, not have any, like, inconsistent games like we've had in non-district. We just got to be consistent, move the ball, and play good in all 3 phases of football.
Well, you guys have certainly taken it one game at a time, and your consistency, we've talked about it. I mean, it's impressive, man. And so let me ask you this. I mean, I know your dad. I've known him a long time. Great guy. He's got a lot of ball in his days. We won't talk about the olden days, the old gray TVs, if you will. Don't tell him I said that. But let's talk about this. I mean, I know y'all are a football family. What do you do to decompress? What do you do to get away from football?
I mean, usually, I wouldn't say it's really getting away from football, but, usually in my downtime, I kind of like just chill, hang out with my family. Most of the time we're watching film, so it's never really a time that we're away from football. But, usually I'm just in the living room, chilling with my mom and my dad, or at my grandma's house, messing around with her. So, it's never really a downtime from football for me.
So who are your college and NFL teams? I see a Southern Miss flag in the background. Who are your NFL teams? Tell me your college. Walk me through who the guys you're watching on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, definitely. My favorite college team is Ole Miss. I know that may sound crazy because my dad, he's a Mississippi State fan, but growing up, I've always liked the Ole Miss and I like the colors. NFL, I don't really have an NFL team. I used to be a Panthers fan growing up, but I'm ashamed to say that now.
Oh, come on, man! You gotta ride the wagon. You gotta go with them thick and thin. I get it. It's valleys and troughs, right? I mean, you're
Yeah.
with them, when they're good, and some people jump off. So hey, ain't no hard feelings, right? Well, talk about this. So, what are your plans, going forward? I mean, this is a year. We knew you had the talent. We knew you were a playmaker, like we said earlier in the interview. But what are your plans for football in the future?
Well, now I'm committed to Hines, so I'm gonna go to Hines, have a good 2 years there, try and go D1 and make it to the NFL.
Hey, Chris Jones, a heck of a football coach. He's had a lot of
Yes,
ties
sir.
in District 2, 7A, and he's doing big things at Hines right now.
Yes, sir. He's doing great things at Hines.
Yes, he is. Hines is a great place. Our friend Jake Wimberly, who is one of the hosts on our shows, he is actually the play-by-play voice of the Hines Eagles on Thursday night. So a lot of
Mhm.
ties amongst all of us. But so when you look at this season, what will you consider it? How will you consider it a success? What's it going to take? I know you won a state championship, but if you win the district, Germantown hasn't hosted a playoff game in a long, long time. When King White looks at this season and he looks back on his senior campaign, what are you going to measure this as a success? What are you going to look at it and say, okay, we did as good as we could. I'm satisfied with it.
Um, I'd say really, a state championship. I know it's everybody's dream, but I think this year, we have the team, we have the chemistry, since I say December, we've been preaching about winning a state championship, and that's what we've been working to all off season. So I say that's the end goal for us.
If you guys are on track, and obviously if you get a win against Oxford, you're definitely going to stay, like we said, a top District 2 7A. A lot of football to be played. It's a gauntlet, right? One game at a time, so we'll see how it all shakes out. So we always give our players of the week, we want to give them a chance to really thank the people that got them here, whether it be your coaches, your family, your teammates, whoever it is. So I want to give this time to you, King, to literally just sit here and thank all the people that have been a big part of your life and your football life.
Well, first, I just want to start by giving all the glory to God. Nothing's possible without Him. I just want to thank God for just giving me the ability to play the sport that I love. I want to thank Coach Mitchell, Coach Lee, all the Germantown staff, because they put together a great game plan for us against Starkville, and we just went out and executed it. My line, they play hard all night, blocking and passing, pass blocking. I just want to thank the receivers, especially Lawson, Keyshawn, Bryce. It takes all 11 players, really all 22 to win a football game. Everyone did their job against Starkville. So I just want to thank really the whole team. Everybody did their job. Sideline was hyped. Defense got big stops, two big goal line stops. So it was a great night for us overall, and everybody did their job, and it was a great outcome.
Absolutely. Yeah, those two goal line stands were big in helping the cause. So those offensive linemen, do you take them out to eat? What do you do for those guys? Because they got to protect you. What's something that King, maybe you don't have to, do you have something up your sleeve if you haven't done it yet? You can just say yes or no, towards the end of
Oh,
the year.
yes,
Okay. All
definitely.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were
I just
talking
wanted to
about
make
it.
sure. Okay. You got to take care of those big guys, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, King, man, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been a pleasure of mine, not for just this interview, but to call your games each and every Friday night. You have been absolutely phenomenal on the field, and a great interview. And I know your family, y'all are really good folks. And man, we appreciate you joining us. And look, best of luck. You guys are not done yet.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, that's King White, the senior quarterback of the Germantown Mavericks, as they will have a tough ball game on the road at Oxford. King, thanks a lot, brother. We will see you next time.
Yes, sir. See you. Have a good one.